My mother-in-law's trying to get me fired, so I'll be financially dependent on her son. I've been married to my husband, Noah, for about 3 years now. We have a great relationship, but there's one thing that's been causing a lot of tension between us, his mom. She's always been a bit controlling, but lately, she's been taking it to a whole new level. She's been trying to get me fired from my job so that I'll be financially dependent on Noah. At first, I didn't think much of it, but then I started noticing a pattern. Every time I had a big meeting or a presentation, she would call Noah and accidentally mention something that would make him doubt my abilities. She would say things like, "Oh, I don't know if your wife is really cut out for that job, or I'm worried she's not going to be able to handle the stress." It was always subtle, but it was enough to make Noah question my competence. And then, she started taking it a step further. She would show up at our house unannounced, always when I was in the middle of working on a project or getting ready for a big meeting. She would help me by doing things like cleaning the house or cooking dinner. But really, she was just trying to distract me and make me feel like I couldn't handle my responsibilities. It was like she had a sixth sense for when I was feeling the most stressed or overwhelmed, and that's when she would swoop in and try to rescue me. Noah would try to defend me, but she would just play the innocent card and say she was only trying to help. It was infuriating. I tried talking to Noah about it, but he just didn't get it. He would say things like, "Oh, my mom is just trying to help or she doesn't mean any harm." But I knew that wasn't true. I knew she was trying to manipulate me to make me feel like I wasn't good enough. And it was working. I started to doubt myself, to wonder if I really was cut out for my job. I started to feel like I was a burden to Noah, like I was holding him back. It was a vicious cycle, and I didn't know how to stop it. Update 1. I just had the most surreal conversation with my mother-in-law. She called me and told me that she had been talking to Noah's old high school friend, George, who works in HR at my company. Apparently, George had told her that I was struggling in my role and that I might be better suited to a different position. My mother-in-law was concerned about me and wanted to help me find a new job. I was furious. I told her that George had no right to discuss my performance with her, and that even if he had, it was none of her business. I also told her that I was doing just fine in my job and that I didn't need her help, but she just kept pushing, kept telling me that I was too stressed and too overwhelmed, and that I needed to take a step back and reevaluate my priorities. It was like she was trying to gaslight me, to make me doubt my own abilities. I finally lost my temper and told her that I knew what she was trying to do, that I knew she was trying to get me fired so that I would be financially dependent on Noah. She just laughed and said I was being paranoid, but I know the truth. I know she's trying to control me, to manipulate me into doing what she wants. I don't know what to do, though. Part of me wants to just cut her out of our lives entirely, but another part of me feels like that would be unfair to Noah. He loves his mom, and I don't want to come between them. But at the same time, I don't know how much more of this I can take. Update 2. I had a big meeting at work today, and I was feeling pretty nervous about it. But I was determined to prove to myself and to my mother-in-law that I was capable of handling my job. I spent hours preparing, rehearsing my presentation and anticipating questions. And it paid off. The meeting went great, and my boss was really impressed. I was feeling pretty proud of myself as I left the office, but then I got a call from Noah. He told me that his mom had called him and was worried about me, that she thought I was overworking myself, and that I needed to take a break. I was furious. I told Noah that his mom needed to back off, that she was trying to sabotage me and undermine my confidence. He listened, and for the first time, I think he really heard me. He told me that he was sorry, that he hadn't realized how much his mom's behavior was affecting me. And then he did something that really surprised me. He told his mom to leave me alone. He told her that I was doing just fine in my job and that she needed to stop interfering. I was shocked. I didn't think Noah had it in him to stand up to his mom like that, but I was also relieved. Maybe, just maybe, things were going to start to get better. Update 3. It's been a few weeks since Noah told his mom to back off, and things have been pretty quiet. I haven't heard from her in a while, and I've been able to focus on my job without any distractions. But today, I got a call from HR. Apparently, my mother-in-law had been in touch with them, trying to get me fired. She had been telling them that I was unstable and unreliable, and that I was causing problems in the office. I was furious. I told HR that it was all a lie, that my mother-in-law was just trying to get me fired so that I would be financially dependent on Noah. They listened, and they told me that they would investigate. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but I'm determined to fight back. I'm not going to let my mother-in-law bully me into quitting my job or relying on Noah for financial support. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm going to make sure that she knows that I'm not going to be intimidated. I'm also going to talk to Noah about it, and I'm going to make sure that he knows what's going on. I hope he'll stand up for me again, and that he'll tell his mom to leave me alone once and for all. I'm tired of being manipulated and controlled, and I'm ready to take back my life.
Caught my wife editing our wedding video to remove my family before sending it to our kids. I've been married to my wonderful wife, Daisy, for over 10 years now. We've had our ups and downs like any couple, but I thought our relationship was solid. We have two beautiful kids together, and they are the center of our universe. Recently, I stumbled upon something that has left me feeling hurt, confused, and unsure about our relationship. I was working from home, and my wife was in the living room, supposedly editing our wedding video to send to our kids. They've been asking to see it, and we thought it would be a great way to share our special day with them. As I walked into the living room, I noticed that she was intensely focused on her laptop, and the video was playing on the screen. I sat down next to her and started watching, expecting to see the usual wedding footage, our families, friends, the ceremony, and the reception. But what I saw was different. My family was almost completely cut out of the video. At first, I thought it might be a mistake, or maybe she was just trying to shorten the video. But as I continued watching, I realized that it was intentional. She had removed almost every scene that featured my family, including my parents, siblings, and grandparents. I felt a knot in my stomach as I watched, trying to understand why she would do this. My family has always been important to me, and I know they've had their differences with my wife over the years, but I never thought it was this bad. I tried to brush it off, thinking maybe she was just trying to protect our kids from any potential drama, but the more I thought about it, the more it bothered me. I decided to confront her about it, trying to choose my words carefully. "Hey, can I talk to you about the wedding video?" I asked, trying to sound casual. "What about it?" she replied, looking up from her laptop. "I noticed you're editing it, and I saw that you're removing my family from the video." She looked taken aback, like she hadn't expected me to notice. "Oh, yeah. I just thought it would be better to focus on our friends and us, you know, the happy couple." I was taken aback by her response. "But my family is a big part of our story, and I want our kids to know about them," I said, trying to keep my emotions in check. "I know, but honestly, I don't want to deal with the drama that comes with your family," she said, looking down. "What drama?" I asked, feeling a surge of defensiveness. "You know, the constant criticism, the judgment. It's just too much." I realized that there was more to this story than I initially thought. It seemed like my wife had been harboring resentments towards my family for a long time, and now she was trying to erase them from our history. I didn't know how to process this, and I felt like our whole relationship was being turned upside down. Update 1. I've been thinking a lot about the situation, and I've decided to have a calm and honest conversation with my wife about it. I want to understand her perspective and see if we can find a middle ground. I know that my family can be difficult at times, but I also know that they love us and want the best for us. I want to find a way to include them in our story, even if it's just in a small way. I've been doing some research, and I found a great article about the importance of family in wedding videos. It talked about how these videos can be a way to share our heritage and traditions with our children, and how they can help to create a sense of belonging and identity. I'm planning to share this article with my wife and see if it can help to change her perspective. I'm also thinking about talking to my family about the situation and seeing if they have any insight or advice. Maybe there's something that I'm missing, or maybe they can help to mediate the situation. I'll keep you updated on how the conversation goes and if we're able to find a resolution. Update 2. I had the conversation with my wife, and it was more difficult than I expected. She's still not willing to include my family in the wedding video, and she's become very defensive about it. She says that she's tired of my family's criticism and judgment, and that she doesn't want to expose our kids to it. I understand where she's coming from, but I also feel like she's being unfair. I've tried to explain to her that my family loves us and wants the best for us, but she's not listening. I'm starting to feel like we're at an impasse, and I don't know how to move forward. I've decided to talk to my family about the situation and see if they can help to mediate. Maybe they can talk to my wife and help her to understand their perspective. I'm also considering seeking the help of a therapist or counselor. I feel like we need someone to help us navigate this situation and find a way to resolve our differences. I'm not sure what the future holds, but I'm hoping that we can find a way to move forward and strengthen our relationship. Update 3. I've been talking to my family about the situation, and they're all very upset. They feel like they're being erased from our history, and they don't understand why my wife is being so stubborn. They've offered to talk to my wife and try to mediate the situation, but I'm not sure if that's a good idea. I don't want to put them in the middle of our conflict, and I don't want to create more tension. I've also been thinking about seeking the help of a therapist or counselor. I feel like we need someone to help us navigate this situation and find a way to resolve our differences. I've been doing some research, and I've found a great therapist who specializes in family conflict and relationships. I'm planning to schedule an appointment and see if they can help us to work through this issue. I'm also considering having a family meeting to discuss the situation and see if we can find a way to move forward. I want to make sure that everyone is on the same page and that we're all working towards the same goal. I'll keep you updated on how everything goes and if we're able to find a resolution. Update 4. I've scheduled an appointment with the therapist and we're set to meet next week. I'm feeling a mix of emotions. I'm hopeful that we can find a way to resolve our differences, but I'm also nervous about the possibility of things getting worse. I've been thinking a lot about our relationship and how we've gotten to this point. I realize that we've been avoiding conflicts and difficult conversations for a long time, and that's created a lot of tension and resentment. I'm hoping that the therapist can help us to work through these issues and find a way to communicate more effectively. I've also been talking to my family, and they're all very supportive. They want us to work through our issues and come out stronger on the other side. They've offered to be there for us, no matter what, and that means a lot to me. I'm feeling grateful for their love and support, and I'm hoping that we can find a way to move forward and create a more positive and loving relationship. Update 5. We had our first session with the therapist, and it was incredibly helpful. She helped us to identify the root causes of our conflict and to understand each other's perspectives. We talked about our communication styles and how we can improve our communication to avoid conflicts in the future. We also discussed the importance of respect and empathy in our relationship, and how we can work to create a more positive and loving dynamic. I feel like we're making progress, and I'm hopeful that we can continue to work through our issues and come out stronger on the other side. The therapist also suggested that we have a family meeting to discuss the situation and see if we can find a way to move forward. She said that it's essential to include my family in the conversation and to find a way to heal and move forward. I'm planning to schedule the family meeting and see if we can find a way to resolve our differences and create a more positive and loving relationship. I'll keep you updated on how everything goes and if we're able to find a resolution. Found out my wife's pregnancy announcement at our wedding was fake to stop me from leaving her. I'm still trying to process everything that's happened over the past few months. I've been with my wife, Aria, for about 5 years now, and we've had our ups and downs like any couple. We've been living together for about 3 years, and I thought everything was going great. We had our little disagreements, but we always managed to work through them. However, about 6 months ago, I started to feel like we were growing apart. We weren't spending as much time together, and when we did, it felt forced. I tried to brush it off, thinking that it was just a phase, but as time went on, I realized that I was seriously considering leaving her. I know it sounds crazy, but I felt like we were just going through the motions of being in a relationship. I didn't feel that spark that I used to feel when we were together. I was torn because I loved Aria, but I didn't feel like we were meant to be. I started to distance myself from her, and I think she could sense that something was wrong. We would have these long, awkward conversations where we would just sit in silence, not knowing what to say to each other. It was like we were two strangers living in the same house. One day, out of the blue, Aria told me that she had some amazing news. She was pregnant. I was shocked, to say the least. We had talked about having kids, but we had never really planned on it. I wasn't sure if I was ready to be a father, but at the same time, I felt like it was something that could bring us closer together. We were getting married in a few months, and I thought that this could be the start of a new chapter in our lives. I was excited, but also nervous. I didn't know if I was ready for this kind of responsibility. Our wedding day arrived, and it was beautiful. Aria looked stunning, and I couldn't help but feel a little emotional as I saw her walking down the aisle towards me. During the reception, Aria stood up and gave a speech. She talked about how much I meant to her and how she couldn't wait to start this new chapter in our lives together. And then she dropped the bombshell. She announced to our friends and family that she was pregnant. Everyone was cheering and clapping, and I just stood there trying to process everything. I was happy, but also scared. I didn't know if I was ready to be a father. After the wedding, we went on a lovely honeymoon, and everything seemed perfect. But as time went on, I started to notice that Aria wasn't really showing any signs of pregnancy. She wasn't gaining weight, she wasn't feeling tired, and she wasn't experiencing any morning sickness. At first, I thought it was just because she was one of those lucky women who didn't experience any symptoms. But as the months went by, I started to get suspicious. I would ask her about the baby, and she would just brush it off, telling me that everything was fine. I started to feel like something was off, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And then, a few days ago, I found out the truth. I was going through some papers in our house, and I stumbled upon a receipt from a pregnancy test. It was from around the time of our wedding, and it said negative on it. My world came crashing down. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. I couldn't believe that Aria had lied to me. I couldn't believe that she had faked a pregnancy to keep me from leaving her. I felt betrayed, and I didn't know how to process my emotions. I confronted Aria, and she broke down in tears. She told me that she was sorry, that she didn't know what else to do. She said that she loved me, and she didn't want to lose me. She told me that she had been feeling the same way, that she felt like we were growing apart, and she didn't know how to fix it. She said that she thought that if she told me she was pregnant, it would bring us closer together, and we could work through our issues. I don't know what to do. A part of me wants to leave her, to get out of this toxic relationship. But another part of me wants to try to work through this, to try to forgive her. I know that I'm not perfect, that I've made mistakes in our relationship too, but this feels different. This feels like a huge betrayal. I'm torn, and I don't know what the future holds. Update 1. I've been thinking a lot about my relationship with Aria, and I've come to realize that I've been feeling unfulfilled for a long time. I feel like we've been going through the motions of being in a relationship, but we haven't really been connecting. I've been trying to blame it on Aria, but I realize now that I'm also to blame. I haven't been communicating my feelings to her, and I haven't been making an effort to connect with her. I've been distant, and I think that's why she felt like she had to do something drastic to keep me. I'm not saying that what she did was right, but I understand why she did it. I've been doing some soul searching, and I've realized that I need to take responsibility for my actions. I need to communicate my feelings to Aria, and I need to make an effort to connect with her. I don't know if our relationship can be saved, but I want to try. I want to see if we can work through this, and if we can come out stronger on the other side. I've been talking to Aria, and she's been willing to work through this with me. We've been having some tough conversations, but I think we're making progress. We're attending therapy sessions together, and we're trying to rebuild our relationship. It's not going to be easy, but I'm willing to try. Update 2. It's been a few months since I found out about the fake pregnancy, and I have to say that our relationship is still a work in progress. We've been attending therapy sessions, and we've been working on communicating our feelings to each other. It's not always easy, but I think we're making progress. I've been trying to be more open and honest with Aria, and I think she's been doing the same. We've been having some tough conversations, but I think we're getting to a place where we can be honest with each other without fear of judgment. I've also been trying to work on my own issues, and I think that's helped me to be a better partner to Aria. I've been doing some soul searching, and I've realized that I have some issues with intimacy and trust. I've been working on building my self-esteem, and I think that's helped me to be more confident in our relationship. Aria and I have been talking about trying to get pregnant for real, and I have to say that I'm nervous but excited. I think we're in a better place now, and I think we can handle the challenges that come with parenthood. We're taking things slow, and we're not putting any pressure on ourselves. We're just enjoying each other's company, and we're taking things one day at a time. Update 3. It's been a year since I found out about the fake pregnancy, and I have to say that our relationship has come a long way. We've been working on rebuilding our relationship, and I think we've made some amazing progress. We've been attending therapy sessions, and we've been working on communicating our feelings to each other. We've been having some tough conversations, but I think we're getting to a place where we can be honest with each other without fear of judgment. We've also been working on building our trust and intimacy, and I think that's helped us to be closer. We've been trying to get pregnant for real, and I'm happy to say that Aria is now 6 months pregnant. We're excited to meet our little one, and we're looking forward to this new chapter in our lives. I know that our relationship isn't perfect, but I think we're in a good place. We're happy, and we're looking forward to the future. I'm grateful for the journey that we've been on, and I'm grateful for the lessons that we've learned. I know that we'll face challenges in the future, but I think we're ready to face them together.
Found out my fiancé's family is bribing my friends to object at our wedding, and I'm not sure what to do. I've been with my fiancé, Avery, for 5 years now. We met in college and everything just clicked. We're both 25 and we've been planning our wedding for the past year. It's been a dream come true, except for one major issue: his family. They're extremely wealthy, and they've always been a bit much. His parents are used to getting their way, and they've made it clear that they don't think I'm good enough for their son. At first, it was just little comments here and there, but as the wedding gets closer, it's become more and more apparent that they're not happy about our union. I've tried to brush it off and focus on the fact that Avery loves me, but it's hard not to take it personally. A few days ago, I was talking to one of my close friends, Charlotte, and she mentioned that she had been approached by Avery's mom with an offer. Apparently, Avery's mom had been offering her money to object at our wedding. I couldn't believe it. I thought maybe Charlotte was just joking, but then I started thinking about all the other times Avery's family had tried to sabotage our relationship. I remembered how they would make snide comments about my job, my family, and even my appearance. It all started to make sense. I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I couldn't believe that Avery's family would stoop so low. I immediately started questioning all of my friends, and what I found out shocked me even more. It turns out that at least 3 of my friends had been approached by Avery's family with similar offers. They had all been offered large sums of money to object at our wedding, and some of them had even been promised favors and connections if they agreed. I was devastated. I didn't know what to do or who to trust. I felt like my whole world had been turned upside down. Update 1, I decided to confront Avery about what I had found out. I was nervous and scared, but I knew I had to talk to him about it. I sat him down and explained everything that had happened. I told him about the offers his family had made to my friends and how I felt betrayed and hurt. Avery was shocked and upset. He had no idea that his family was doing this, and he promised to talk to them and put a stop to it. He told me that he loves me and that he wants to spend the rest of his life with me, and that his family's behavior is not a reflection of his feelings for me. He also offered to elope and get married in a small ceremony, just the 2 of us, to avoid any more drama. I was touched by his words, but I'm still not sure what to do. Part of me wants to just get married and be done with it, but another part of me wants to stand up to his family and show them that their behavior is not acceptable. Update 2. Avery and I decided to have a sit-down with his family and discuss their behavior. We were both nervous, but we knew it had to be done. We met at their house, and Avery's mom was her usual condescending self. She denied everything, of course, and tried to turn the tables on me, saying that I was being too sensitive and that I needed to toughen up. But Avery stood up for me, and he told his family that their behavior was unacceptable. He made it clear that he loves me and that he wants to spend the rest of his life with me, and that their attempts to sabotage our relationship would not work. His family was taken aback, and for a moment they were speechless. Then, his dad spoke up and said that they were just trying to protect Avery from making a mistake. I was furious. I told them that they had no right to try to control Avery's life or mine, and that their behavior was not only hurtful but also damaging to our relationship. Avery's family was not happy with us, but we didn't care. We knew that we had to stand up for ourselves and our relationship. Update 3. It's been a week since the confrontation with Avery's family, and things have been interesting. Avery's family has been distant, but Avery and I have been closer than ever. We've been spending all our time together, and we've been talking about our future and our plans. We've decided to go ahead with the wedding, but we're going to make some changes to the guest list. We're not going to invite anyone who was involved in Avery's family's scheme, and we're going to make sure that our wedding is a celebration of our love, not a showcase for his family's drama. I'm still a little nervous about what might happen on the wedding day, but I know that Avery and I are strong enough to handle whatever comes our way. We're excited to start our new life together, and we're not going to let anyone or anything get in the way of our happiness. Update 4. The wedding day is just a week away, and I'm getting more and more anxious. I've been having nightmares about Avery's family causing a scene at the wedding, and I've been worrying about what might happen if they try to object. But Avery has been reassuring me, and he's promised to take care of everything. He's been talking to the officiant and the wedding planner, and he's made sure that everything is in place to prevent any drama. I've also been talking to my friends, and they've all been supportive and loving. They've promised to stand up for me and Avery, and they've offered to help us in any way they can. I'm feeling a little better now, but I'm still on edge. I just want the wedding to be over, and I want to start our new life together. Update 5. It's the day after the wedding, and I'm still on cloud 9. The wedding was perfect, and everything went smoothly. Avery's family was there, but they were well-behaved, and they didn't cause any scenes. In fact, they even apologized to us for their behavior, and they promised to support us in the future. I was surprised and touched by their apology, and I'm hopeful that we can all move forward and put the past behind us. Avery and I are now on our honeymoon, and we're enjoying every moment of it. We're relaxing, we're having fun, and we're just enjoying each other's company. I'm so grateful to have found my soulmate, and I'm excited to see what the future holds for us. I want to thank everyone who has supported us throughout this journey. Your love and encouragement have meant the world to us, and we're so grateful to have you all in our lives.